surprise.
Here we go.
Trevor Lawrence. Let's not overthink this, people. Trevor Lawrence is the guy. He's been the guy for 3 years, and it didn't do anything this season to knock what he's done in the years prior. If anything, he helped his draft status. We've seen him do it for so long. He's 6'6", 225 pounds. And honestly, if you can go in the lab like Frankenstein and build a quarterback.
That's it.
This is it. 6'6", 220. He could throw every pass and it runs. There's like a gazelle out there. He's the next. He's the prototype. He's everything that you want in a quarterback in 2021 as far as skills go. There's really no direct comparison for him. A quarterback that big who can run like that, who can throw like this. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be the best quarterback of all time. I'm not going to say he's going to be Mahomes. I'm not even going to say he's going to be Josh Allen. I just know from pure traits coming out of college, this is him. This is the one. This is number one, and it's number one by a landslide. Zach Wilson's going to have a lot of people who love his game and love what he brings to the table and all stuff. 6'6", 220, played in every big college football game you can imagine, won every big college football game you can imagine. There is no hole in Trevor Lawrence's game. He's a great kid. Teammates love him. His ex-coaches staff, they rave about him. And he's going number one to Jacksonville. It would take a wild change of events from now until the end of April for anyone to even question this player being their number one prospect. He's everything that all these quarterback gurus aspire to see. He's the total package. I hate to just wow you with flips in it. You're going to hear everyone talking this way as it gets to the point. Trevor Lawrence is my number one prospect.
Okay.
It's LSU wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase. We talked a lot about the Alabama guys. I've got Chase as number one on my list as far as the wide receiver position goes. And Nate, I cannot wait to see you dig into what this guy does, because he was teammates with Justin Jefferson 2 years ago and blew him out of the water as the number one receiver on that team. Justin Jefferson was the number two, and it wasn't even close. Ja'Marr Chase, 2 years ago, when LSU won the national title with Joe Burrow at quarterback, 1,800 receiving yards and 20 touchdowns in that season, and was the clear number one. Jefferson was a solid player, but Ja'Marr Chase was the story. Absolutely unstoppable. A unique prospect in a lot of ways because he does run the routes. He is a burner, but he's not like a Henry Ruggs burner, and he's not like a Jerry Jeudy technician of the routes. He just always seems to be open and always seems to be making plays.
Peter, Chase literally wears number one, and Jefferson wears number two.
That's exactly right. Couldn't be more explicit there.
Wow.
So you're wondering, why didn't I hear about him? Why where's he been? He didn't play all of last year. Opted out. Did not play a single game last year. Decided to opt out. Said, I'll let my numbers from 2019 speak for themselves.
So he's just training.
He was just training, and he was trying to get ready for this NFL draft. Ja'Marr Chase, the comparison, and again, I always talk with with Matt Hamilton, who's our producer, who helps us put together these prospects lists. And I'm looking at him like, he's only 6 foot. He's not a 6'5", and he's not going to run a 4.3 40. Like, what's the comparison? It's the complete dominance when the ball comes to him and his ability to get open and then break away. Devontae Adams is our comparison.
Really?
Ja'Marr Chase. Not the biggest guy in the room, not the fastest guy in the room, just unstoppable.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Sometimes you just have that.
And that's him. That's him. He's not Julio. He's not Calvin. He's a player that you look at in a room and you're like, all right, what's this guy going to do? And then he absolutely terrorizes you on the field. Ja'Marr Chase, to me, is the best non-quarterback in this draft. I could see him going as high as number 2 to the Jets, and if he doesn't, number 3 to the Dolphins. It would make a lot of sense to me. He is that unstoppable. You know, the wide receiver position has a lot of players in the later rounds. Then you get the guys who go in the top 5. They usually hit. Ja'Marr Chase is that player this year. It's the first time in years. It is an tackle, Penei Sewell. He didn't play this entire season. Sewell said, okay, because of COVID-19, I am opting out. But when I'm telling you, this guy is a prototypical road paving, pass blocking beast at left tackle. I cannot say it enough. He was the Outland winner 2 years ago in 2019. He's 6'6", 330 pounds, and he just absolutely clears the way. Now look, he was Justin Herbert's left tackle when Justin Herbert was the quarterback there at Oregon. He didn't play all of last year. He's an incredible specimen, and not just because of his size and his strength, but because of his insane athleticism. We had Vita Vea on the show earlier this week, and Vita's one of those guys who's 350 but could play running back and has this incredible footwork. That's what you get from Penei Sewell. Just an incredible talent. His technique is not polished, but remember, he didn't play all of last year, so you're looking at film from 2 years ago, and he's got a bit of a mean streak. I love Vita Vea because he's got this smile, but on the field, he's nasty. You know who else is? Quentin Nelson. Quentin Nelson's one of those guys that wants to destroy you. That is this player. You watch him on film. Number 3 for an offensive tackle, that seems awfully high. Guess what? When you saw what Wirfs did out there in Tampa as Tom Brady's tackle, what you saw, what obviously Andrew Wills did for the Browns, there are left tackles who are making an impact right away. And as though they're not sexy as the wide receiver position, and you as a fan might say, gosh, we got an offensive tackle. How do I root for that? That's the building blocks. That's the cornerstone. And this guy right here could be that player.
Peter, you think Jets fans would gravitate towards a guy named Penei?
That's right. Oh.
Hey!
Get to my top 10 list. So it's the player you're going to hear about most from right now until draft day. It's BYU quarterback Zach Wilson. The Wilson hype train has officially left the station.
Wow.
The buzz is out of control. And I almost feel like this is sober and modest of me to put him 4 and not number 1 at this point, the way this thing is going. But make no mistake, his highlight reel is incredible. And I know this sounds blasphemous, and I know we do this every year. We throw him.
Here we go.
I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but some of the throws he makes are, here's an adjective, Mahomesian.
Like it.
That looked like a really nice catch, right? It was a really good throw, too. This kid, Zach Wilson, 6'3", has the build. He's 210 pounds. He's insanely accurate. He throws on the run. He throws off his back foot. He throws. The technique is whatever. It's the fact that he gets the pass perfectly placed at the receiver. I've been watching, some of these games. Look at this one here. Throws it deep against Boise. It's a perfect pass into the end zone.
Boise had a tough night that night.
Oh yeah, every highlight seems to be against Boise. Here's Utah getting in that game. Doesn't have necessarily the burners to be a runner, but he's mobile. Like you watch him play, he's completely able to get out of the pocket and move. Chris Sims, who we've mentioned now 3 times on the show because, well, I've been waiting for someone to do it, has him ranked above Trevor Lawrence. And you see that and you say, oh, clickbait, that's ridiculous. He's not the only one. I've heard this now, and no one's been able to come out, and no GM has told me I've got Wilson over Lawrence. But the whispers are coming out, and not just in the mock draft community, but from front offices that Wilson is really, really good and does things that Trevor Lawrence doesn't. We shall see how it all plays out, but we talk about a quarterback draft. This one, I believe, it's not just Lawrence, and it's not just a one-track. Wilson's really good, Lance is really good, Fields is really good, and Mac Jones can have an argument as well. So I cannot wait for the draft. I think Zach Wilson is going to be one of those names we talk about the most on this show. So if you can at home, if you haven't watched him play, and I understand that it's college season was weird, go and look up some Zach Wilson footage or just keep it here on NFL Network. We're going to be showing plenty. Absolute beast at number 3 for me, and that is Oregon offensive winner. I'm going with his teammate, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle had an ankle injury this year, didn't play as much as Devontae Smith, that was never the number 1 at Alabama, and in most cases was usually the number 4 at Alabama behind Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs and Devontae Smith. But he might be my favorite wide receiver in this entire draft. An absolute burner. Wears number 17. And if you watched his punt return against LSU 2 years ago, or in the Iron Bowl against Auburn where he took a slant and went about 60 yards, he is the most electric wide receiver in this draft. I know there's no combine. It pains me there's no combine because last year, Henry Ruggs ran a 4.2 40. We all did flips. I think he's faster than Henry Ruggs. Oof. I think he is faster than Henry Ruggs. He's bigger than Henry Ruggs. I think this is Tyreek Hill. I honestly do. I think Jalen Waddle could be Tyreek Hill.
Miller?
I think he is as fast as
High praise, bro. High
any
praise.
player in this entire NFL. That's how fast I think this guy could be. He could be the fastest player in the league, and he does it in special teams as well. Returns punts, returns kicks. They throw slant passes to him, and it was usually Tua from 2 years ago. And Waddle would take it at the 40, shimmy, and then break 3 guys, defensive backs, who are all in the NFL from other schools in the SEC, and go for touchdowns. The problem? Ankle injury. Missed a lot of time this year, and there are questions. Now, we're hoping that in this world of coronavirus and COVID-19, maybe possibly being pushed away a little bit, we can bring him in for some visits with doctors, and maybe we can look at the ankle and you can make your decisions. But I just watch SEC football every Saturday, and I can tell you, Jalen Waddle to me, A little bit more than Devontae Smith, who put up huge numbers and is as silky smooth and as polished as anybody. Might be my favorite wide receiver in all of college football. I got him higher than his teammate who won the Heisman. even.